Hello friends, my name is Ramasu. Today we shall discuss about topic the document analysis. Friend, today's topic is very interesting. It's a very important tools and technique which is mentioned in the PMBOK guide, project management body of knowledge, and it's a very important method we used in project management. So let's start, friend. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my videos can reach to you. So friend, document analysis. Actually, what is document analysis? If you just see the term document analysis, so that means the process or all the things are related to documents, analyzing the documents. Okay, now what does it mean by actually document analyzing? Basically, friend, whenever we are working for any project, okay, so there are lots of documents which we made, and other documents are also available. For example, in every project there is a document of scope document which define the scope of work, the document of project schedule, project management plan, assumptions, constraints, the risk identification, okay, and test cases. So there are lots of documents. Also, these are the documents which we make for a project. There are lots of documents are already available from the previous projects as well, like for example the estimates for schedule, cost, lesson learned documents, um, the other documents available from previous projects. So the in cut the story short, we have lots of documents available, and being a project manager you have to analyze all those documents. Now why we have to analyze the documents? So that we can understand the requirement, we can understand the scenario, and we can learn from our mistakes so that we can avoid it in future. So basically document analysis means, in general, if we talk about, basically for requirement gathering, risk identification, test cases development, forensic analysis. So basically we are analyzing the documents so that we can learn from it and we can use it for further. Basically it's a tools and technique which we used in project management to understand the scenario, okay, and so that we can successfully complete the project. Now the examples of document analysis, why we should use the document analysis. First thing, for example, there are lots of documents. For example, contract between two parties is available, statement of work is available. So we have to we must have to analyze those documents. For example, vendor is saying that uh, we can deliver the ABC product in 2 months. Once you analyze the contract with the vendor, you realize that the delivery of the delivery is required within 1 month. Otherwise you can do the penalty, you can apply the penalty on the vendor. For example, just take it as an example. Secondly, traceability matrix is basically the link the scope of work to the requirements. Okay, you are linking the scope of work to the requirements, scope design documents. So you can understand what is the scope of work. Scope is basically defines the boundary of deliverable. What actually needs to be delivered is basically defined in the scope of work. Then rigorous requirement reviews are conducted to identify those requirements which are ambiguous. Many times it happens that customer is saying something, okay, but it is not obvious actually what he wants to say. So once you read the scope document again, or multiple time read, so you can understand what is the requirement, what needs to be delivered, and what exactly he wants to say. Then work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure, or WBS, is basically a document which divide the work into multiple chunks so that you can manage it properly, or you can estimate it properly. So this is the work breakdown concept of work breakdown structure. So basically once you analyze the work breakdown structure, you can analyze that what work needs to be delivered, what work needs to be completed, and how much resources are required for that particular work package. In forensic analysis, project documents are analyzed to create substantial claims. Claims can also be analyzed and document it using the forensic analysis. So these are the very few example of document analysis where you can use. There are other lots of requirements, other lots of examples are available as well, which you can mention, which you can use. Now, how to do the document analysis? First thing is the preparation. Preparation means that you collect all the documents at one place. For example, the scope document, the requirement analysis, the functional specification, the contracts, the project management plan, project schedule, assumptions, constraints, lesson learned, estimates of cost, and estimate of schedule. So all those documents you have to prepare, means that you have to collect it somewhere. There are lots of documents which as a project manager you have to make, and there are lots of documents which you are not basically making, you just have to collect it somewhere. Like for example, contract is not making by the project manager, these are the legal requirement. The scope document is basically project manager is making. So either being a project manager you are making those documents, or you are not making those documents, you have to collect it somewhere. Once all the documents are available at one place, you have to review it. Secondly, you have to understand that that doesn't mean that you are reviewing all the documents. You have to review the documents which are pertaining to particular stage. For example, you are at the planning stage, so you have to analyze the scope document, you have to analyze the functional specification. You are at the testing stage of a project, so you have to analyze the test cases. You are at the production deployment, so you have to analyze the production deployment plan. So basically it's not necessary that you have to review all the document at one go. You have to review the document, only those documents which are pertaining to particular stage of a work, then finalize those documents. Finalize again means only finalize which are related to you being a project manager. Like for example, scope document you have to finalize, the project management plan you have to finalize. Okay, or either you have to finalize it, or you can ask to someone to finalize it. For example, the contract needs to be finalized by the legal advisor. The deployment plan needs to be finalized by the deployment manager. So basically finalize means you have to finalize those documents, either they are pertaining to you or either they are pertaining to someone else. So this is called as the concept of finalize. Remember here, if you have a proper analysis of document, only then you can finalize it. Okay, next is the advantages and disadvantages of document. The first advantage is that a document analysis helps you focus on the questions you might ask in the interviews. Many times it happens that we have lots of questions in our minds, that what is the scope, what is the requirement, what is the functional specification. So all those questions can be asked, can be answered after the document analysis. Then it is particularly useful when you want to drill down and focus on a particular case study. If there is any particular case study, you can also get the answers from the document analysis. Then document analysis is cost effective and rapid, where data is readily available. Like you can easily get the answers from the scope document, from the functional specification, etc. Document offer specific and stable data which is unaffected by the preference of researchers. So whatever the data is available in the signed scope of work, definitely it is final and full and final, and it cannot be changed. So it is a stable data and you can rely it on the stable data. Disadvantages of document analysis. First thing is that many times it happens as well that you are performing the document analysis, but unfortunately the documents are not finalized. For example, you are analyzing the scope document, but this scope document is not signed or agreed. So what will happen? You are giving time for that document, but that document is not finalized. You are giving time for the contract, but that contract is not signed between the two parties. And after the analysis, and once you go to the customer, he will say that this contract is not signed, the scope document is not signed. So many times it happens that document analysis, we found that documentation is there, but documentation is not signed or agreed between the two parties. Then it's also another disadvantage here that there are lots of documents involved in the documentation. Like for example, scope document has 5 versions, the project management plan has 3 versions, the wireframes has 2 versions. So there are so many documents involved, due to which the information overloaded. Like information is required for only one document there, but there are 8 to 10 documents are available for which you have to analyze it, which you have to link it, so that get the required information. So document information overloaded is also a very big disadvantage here as well. Documents may need to be anonymized and scrutinized against other documents. Sometimes it happens that one thing is written is in a scope document, but this particular scope requirement is not scrutinized, is not linked with the functional specification. Something else is written in the functional specification and something else is written in the scope document. So the scoping and the functional specifications and the wireframes are not linked together. Like for example, you are saying in the scope document that there will be 5 fields on the form. For example, once you analyze the wireframes of the application, you realize that there are 10 fields on the form. So basically, during the document analysis, you can notice that the many documents are not linked with each other. Like the project schedule is not linked with the scoping requirement, or scope document is not linked or scrutinized, cannot be scrutinized, cannot be linked with the wireframes. So this is another disadvantage as well. So friend, thank you, thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with the friends and colleagues, and thanks a lot for watching the video. Thank you.